Hey, and welcome back to the Art of a Life Well Lived. I'm Christine Regan Lake, and it's good to be here again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you would like to like, subscribe, or share any of my content, that would be such a blessing to me. That helps to tweak my algorithm so I can get my message out to more people who want and need to hear it. And always, please, if you have any questions whatsoever, I totally want to hear any questions you have on any of the content that I have. If you want to share a story of something that you're going through, I'm here for that too. We're building a community here and helping each other to support each other to move, grow, heal, and transcend after a narcissistic abusive relationship and just looking to create a beautiful, abundant life for ourselves. Okay, so what do I want to talk about today? So today we're going to talk about 6 tactics that a narcissist will use to triangulate you. So a narcissist loves to isolate people. Part of the way they do that is by creating a cadre of the flying monkeys, and that references from the Wizard of Oz, right? Those flying monkeys. The witch sends off her flying monkeys to do her bidding, things like that. So a narcissist loves to create these little groups of people that they'll go, and they love gossiping, right? They love talking about people. They love spreading rumors. They love, they just love that whole gossip thing. Narcissists love gossip. And so what they'll do with these flying monkeys is they will use these flying monkeys to basically target different people that they want to go after when, for whatever reason, when they've decided there's someone that they want to go after. So what are some of the 6 tactics that they use in triangulation? Well, one of the first one is they love to do love triangles. So a love triangle is where they want to bring a third party into your dynamic to bring instability, to make you feel insecure. So I had a gentleman I dated several years ago, and his favorite thing was to go on and on and on about various women in his professional career who were in love with him. Oh yeah, that one was loves to reach out to me and send me emails, and I try to be polite or whatever. And it was just kind of this stream. And then there was always his work wife. Oh, she's my work wife. And it was just this never-ending stream of women that happened to just like fawn all over him. And another thing that he used was he would start saying, yeah, damn, I don't know why, but Match just keeps sending me these women, and I've tried to unsubscribe and things like that. And so he was constantly creating an environment where he wanted me to feel insecure about our connection, and always mentioning other women and things like that. And I'm not really a jealous person, but I just thought to myself, this is kind of weird. Why does he keep bringing this stuff up? And, and it just seemed to be a never ending stream of women that were in love with him at work. So anyway, so that's one, is they create the love triangle. They want to bring in a third person. If it's a man, he's bringing in another woman from work, or, the friend group, whatever. But it's all about making you feel insecure. Now, I don't know if you've heard about this trend. It's actually a Christian trend, where there are men who take a pledge, and they'll actually, and this is a way to offer, respect to their wife, which is they've made a commitment that they will not be in the presence of another woman alone. And it's a conscious choice, and it's a commitment that they've made to respect and honor their wife as a way to make his wife feel absolutely secure that he's not going to do anything to jeopardize their connection, his respect for his wife, and things like that. And to be honest with you, I know some people think it's kind of archaic, but I actually think it's really beautiful, and to a certain degree, I think it's pretty smart, because when a man and a woman are just, even if they're just at a restaurant and they're just talking, when 2 people are alone like that, topics can come up just very innocently, and an intimacy can be created. And intimacy is intimacy, emotional intimacy, and it can be the seed of something. So the men that choose to do this, I think it's really honorable, and I think it's really smart and strategic for, co-creating an environment in which their marriage is going to thrive and respect. And to be honest with you, I think the woman should do the same thing. If he's not going to meet with a woman one-on-one, then she shouldn't either, right? It's about co-creating equality and an environment where both can feel safe and respected and know that each person is doing everything in their power to protect the sanctity of their marriage. So anyway, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent, but I just wanted to share that. Okay, so the second way, what is the second tactic that a narcissist will use to triangulate somebody? Well, they do it through gaslighting. This goes back to the flying monkeys, right? So the narcissist will go to the little cadre of flying monkeys and they will tell them certain things about you. They will try to gaslight you. So they'll tell the flying monkeys how emotionally unstable you are, right? And so they won't share the fact that like what they did to trigger your anger, you know, because they completely violated your boundaries in this way, that way, or another way, right? But they'll go to the family or the group of friends or whatever, and they'll start talking about the fact that like, you know, you're, you know, blowing things out of proportion about you and trying to gaslight you so that when you come in and, you know, you're brought back into the fold, it's like people look at you and they're like, well, why'd you overreact like that, Christine? Or why did you overreact like this? Whatever. And so they use the gaslighting of either a third person or multiple people to gaslight you, make you feel like you're crazy, to undermine your authority, undermine your standing in the community, things like that. So what is the third one? The third one is triangulation by comparison, right? So this is a very common trend, and I see a lot of people do it, and it, you know, I don't think people realize how destructive it is. You know, parents do it all the time with their kids, comparing one child to the other kid. Why can't you be more like this one? Why can't you be more like that one? You know, they've got good study habits. They're great at, you know, cleaning up their room, whatever. And making these comparisons. No one wants to be compared to anybody. Every person is individual. Everybody has their own unique imprint to contribute into this world, and no one wants to be compared. But a narcissist will use triangulation by comparison to make you feel insecure. So they might say, if it's a male, he might say to his wife, he's like, wow, you know, didn't Janine look amazing tonight when we were, you know, when we were at dinner? She, you know, she's been working out and things like, you should be more like Janine. You should start going to the gym like Janine does. And what they do is, in terms of the comparison, they will idealize the other person and they will diminish you. So they put the other person that they're comparing to you on a pedestal, and they diminish you and make you feel like can't even compare. And they might compare you with a physical body. She's so in shape, you know, she's so much thinner than you are, or maybe she's more beautiful, she makes more money, she's more successful. Or maybe a female does it. Maybe it's the wife doing it to a husband, and she's like, you know, do you know so-and-so makes, you know, $500,000 a year? Wow, you should go into you know, that industry, you know, you should make that kind of money, you know, and trying to diminish a man, whether she might diminish him for his career, his finances, compare to another man for physical fitness. Look how in good, you know, in shape Jake is. He does those, you know, those triathlons. Maybe you should start doing triathlons because you know, you don't do anything and you're just sitting on the couch and whatever. So it's triangulation by comparison. It is used, they idealize somebody else and they diminish you to make you feel less than, and it's a way for them to make you feel insecure, fill you with self-doubt, and a narcissist wants you insecure. The more insecure a partner is for a narcissist, the better, because they feel like they have the upper hand in the relationship then if you are insecure. So what's another way that they use to triangulate? Well, they might triangulate through when they have discarded you, they'll do a smear campaign. A smear campaign is a very, very common and nasty tactic that a narcissist will use once they've discarded you. They've decided that you are no longer of value to them and that they are ready to move on to somebody else. Maybe they're bored. Maybe they're clear that you're not giving them the abundant narcissistic supply that you used to. You're no longer allowing yourself to be manipulated, to be toyed with, to be gaslit, things like that. So they discard you, and in the discard, they do a smear campaign. They go to the family, friends, whatever, and they tell a whole big story about how, you know, they had to leave the relationship and how abusive you were, and how, they, in this discard, in this smear campaign, they will paint you as the villain. They are the hapless victim. You took advantage of them. You were trying to use them for their money, or you cheated on them, whatever. They'll say whatever. The smear campaign is basically so that they can paint a very dramatic story, painting you as the villain, painting them as the victim, because they love victim mentality. Narcissists are victim blueprint. Like everything is somebody else's fault. They don't take any personal accountability for everything. They blame everybody else for everything. Okay, so how else do a narcissist use triangulation? Well, the fifth way that they use triangulation is that they drive a wedge between you and someone else. So it could be a wedge between you and your sibling. It could be a wedge between you and your spouse. And I specifically remember I had a friend I used to be connected with. I, disconnected well over a decade ago. I just realized that she was a narcissist, and I just didn't have space in my life for that anymore. But so anyway, what happened was, before I ended the connection, I remember being on the phone with her, and she was in a fight with her boyfriend at the time, and I was married, and she's going on and on and on about how, disgusted she is with the boyfriend or this or whatever. And then the conversation took a decided turn, and then she immediately turned her focus on my husband and started to drive a wedge, and started to say things about my husband to try to drive a wedge between he and I. She was having, she was feeling disconnected from her, boyfriend, lover, whatever. And so now all of a sudden she's like, well, let's put your relationship under the microscope, and you tell me, whatever. And then started trying to say things to get me riled up about my husband. And I was like, no, we're not going here. This isn't happening. I'm not allowing this to take place. Okay, so what is the sixth way? The sixth way is, so what they'll do is, it's a triangulation of negative and complaining, right? So they will go to, someone they know, and like, say it might be their best friend. And so they'll just start dumping to their best friend all about you, negative, complaining, or whatever. So now the next time the best friend comes over, now their best friend comes over and looks at you through a different lens, right? So what they do is they use the triangulation to paint a picture for that other person so that they view you differently. So now it's like, because they love to complain, right? So they're the victim, right? And so if they're frustrated with you, then they want their best friend to be frustrated with you. If they feel like, they want to pick on you, now they want their best friend to pick on you, things like that. And it's really funny not funny, but I remember growing up that my mother would, when she was mad at my dad, we all had to be mad at my dad. And then when she was happy with my dad, then she'd go the other way, and now she was back in love. Now it was like, okay, now we love daddy again. We're angry at daddy now, and it was kind of, we had to swing with her, right? So whenever she was angry at him, we were supposed to be angry at him. Whenever she decided to, like, now she's not mad at him and she's in love with him, now we love him again. Now we hate him, now we love him. Now we hate him, now. It wasn't, do I think she realized that she was doing that? No. These are all unconscious things. These are behaviors that were modeled to her as a child by her own parents, and then you just start, you model the behavior that you see. It's absorbed subconsciously. But that's what they do, right? So they use the triangulation, like for the negative complaining, they use it as an outlet to offload whatever complaints or negativity they're feeling. They blame it on you, and then they offshoot it to their friend of those, which then puts a negative lens for that person, when they're looking back at you. So those are some of the ways that a narcissist will triangulate you. It's all about your manipulation and control. They're all about trying to control the narrative. They always want to paint themselves as a victim. They always want to make you as the villain. They take no personal accountability. They love manipulation and control tactics. it's something that they feed on. They love stirring the pot, causing problems, gossiping, things like that. So triangulation is a really nasty way to really make people feel isolated, ostracized, things like that. And they love that, because especially once they've done the discard, once a narcissist has discarded you, the smear campaign and that kind of thing, they eat that up. They eat that up, and it feeds their ego. It feeds their, that kind of like malicious. Narcissists tend to be very jealous and envious, and they don't like anybody to have, anything. If someone has something that they don't have, they immediately